What's up, y'all? If you're watching this and it is not live, go ahead and skip forward about 30 seconds. I'm going to send this link out. We're going to let one or two people trickle in, and then we're going to get started. It's live on Twitter. Boom. Right on. And we are live on Discord. All right, Sharif, I think you can hear me. We are live everywhere. I just posted it. All right. What's up, everybody? Oh, shit. There's a lot of people in here already. Cool. Welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cade. We'll be your guys today and hopefully replacing the West Side Joy for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. Smash the like button for me. I really appreciate that. It's dope. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord down below in the description. We appreciate you guys all being here. Today we have the founder of Antebellum Games, Sharif Mohammed, and it is going to be lit. He got some crisp audio coming in. I'm really excited to talk to him. We got a bunch of different varieties of people coming onto the channel. We've had gaming projects, we've had PFP projects, we have a whole variety of different cool cats in the whole space. So I'm really excited to bring him on. I appreciate you guys all being in here. Is this a bad echo? Hold on. Oh, bad echo. One sec. Let me know if the audio is better. Cool. All right, we're gonna bring him on right now. What up, G?
Hey, how are you, man? Thanks for
Good.
having me.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it's good to talk to you. Reborn says, never mind, I'm an idiot. Okay, so I guess the audio, maybe it was the echo on, I don't know what happened, but I'm glad it worked out. What's up, Bryce? We got Bryce in the house. What's up, everybody? Yeah, so go ahead and smash the like button. We're going to get started right now. We have Sharif from Antebellum Games. This is a project, a gaming project, PFP. They've got Genesis Land. They've got a bunch of different things. They've got 3 or 4 collections that are coming. It's a lot of interesting things. And you guys launched super recently, and so walk me through a little bit what that's been like in the past few. Has it been super stressful? You've been sleeping at all? You've seen your family?
Yeah. Basically, I think family is good. Thank you, man. I got 2 kids, so it's been stressful not being able to spend as much time with them as I want. But what's funny is this. When we talk more about the project, you'll see that we're trying to revolutionize what it means to be a play to earn project in the crypto space. And we minted about, I don't know, less than a week ago. And it's like, where's revolution? It's like, so that's the part that's been amusing. It's like,
Yeah,
we really want people to know what we're building here. So that's why
yeah.
this opportunity is great. It gives us a chance to really speak to people and they can understand it better and hopefully, let us build what we're building here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, yeah. It's a common trend in the NFT space. I'm actually
Mhm.
making a video on why I haven't come out with my own project. A lot of people have asked me, they're like, well, you're making NFT content, you're doing the YouTube stuff, you have a following. Like, why don't you do a project? And I'm like, listen, that's a whole ass thing on its own. I'm already trying to do YouTube and I'm
Yeah,
barely
yeah,
holding it together here.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
a full-time thing. And especially if you're looking to push the envelope like you guys are, you're trying to
Mm,
introduce some new mechanics, some different things that other projects
mm,
aren't doing, an extra layer of stuff that a lot of the PFPs aren't even going to
mm,
try and attempt. You guys are trying
mm,
to hit into the gaming aspect a little bit that is without a doubt coming. All the biggest players in the space are all calling for it.
mhm,
We all know it's going to happen. There's a reason they're calling for it, not just at the fact that their bags are like directly involved, but it's also like that's
mhm.
where we're headed.
Yeah,
It's just where we're going. So,
yeah.
is that how long you been in the space? Like, has that always been an idea for you to start your own project and to go into this realm of the NFT world?
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting. I've been in crypto for a couple years. I was an early investor in many of the play to earns, but I always knew that if on a foundational level, no matter how clever or interesting you make your tokenomics, if on a foundational level, the only reason people are there is to make money, it's not sustainable. Because when the money drives, the people leave. So, like I was there from the beginning, and I always say this. I don't mean to hate on any other project. I love all the projects, and I think each project played a part in the revolution of play to earn. But I think stake to earn might be more accurate in
Mhm.
terms of what the current NFT
Right.
meta is. So for me, it was always like if the only reason people are there is to make money, no matter how clever or unique you make the tokenomics, it's broken on a foundational level, and it will last for maybe 6 months or a year, but eventually it will fall apart. So that's one thing that really pushed me to do this. So I've been in crypto for many years, but I've been in NFTs for about 9 months. And I watched the NFT world develop, and I grew up on Pokemon,
Hell
right?
yeah.
So
Let's go.
yeah. So I'm
Let's go.
Pokemon Blue, I'm Yellow. Imagine you caught the first Mewtwo ever on Pokemon Blue when it got
Oh my
released.
god.
Imagine you got that as an NFT, right? That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's ownership of assets. What if the first 1,000 people to catch, the Lugia, the first 1,000 people to find Lugia in the game get an NFT one of one, and the first 1,000 people, everyone is racing all over the world trying to be in the top 1,000 to find this Lugia in your game, and you get an ownership of that. You get a badge. Whereas we played all these games, we dedicated time, and we got enjoyment out of it, to be fair. But most recently, like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, I invested money and gems in years. Clash of Clans, for those that know, like years, and now I don't play it anymore, and I got nothing.
Yeah.
The enjoyment, yes, but it's I think NFTs where its real value is ownership of assets. Let the play to earn come organically. Don't build around play to earn. Build around making a fun, immersive, and enjoyable game and a marketplace where players can trade their assets.
Mhm,
Now, if I have an asset, that means I can sell it. That means I can make money, but that's organic.
mhm.
That's where I think play to earn is going. It's actually not going to be about earning. It's going to be about asset ownership. And the earning, if it comes organically, you will build an ecosystem that is sustainable.
Yeah, no, definitely. What do you think has been, because you've had the pleasure, and we've all had the pleasure, honestly, of watching all these projects grow. Especially you and I have been in the space for a fat minute.
Hmm.
We've been here basically since the beginning.
Yeah,
If we've been here about 9 months,
yeah.
some people were in here. They say they've been here since like 2017, but like the NFTs didn't
No,
really,
no.
they weren't really a thing before then. So they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
just doing whatever. So,
yeah.
anyways, we watched the whole process. We watched these Genesis collections of like the early
Hmm.
summer projects kind of blow up. They're all PFP for the most part. A
Hmm.
couple of them are probably going to survive, and then we saw an entire movement of the play to earn games. A lot of
With
them had
Wolf
been
game,
building.
yeah.
Yeah, Wolf game. We see a lot of them have been
Hmm.
building in the last few months. What do you think you've learned the most from watching all these projects kind of just do their thing? Where like
Yeah.
what mistakes have you seen that you're like, all right, we're not doing that shit?
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a mistake. I'd say it's miscategorized. It should be stake to earn as opposed to play to earn, primarily for from that perspective. But I wouldn't say it's a mistake. It's actually the opposite. When I looked at these projects, and I see the demand, the hunger that the NFT community has, like you're talking about projects that are making millions and millions of dollars, have so much interest and volume and transactions, and it's stake to earn. To
Yeah.
me, I'm like, oh my God, what do you do if you launch a AAA mobile game? And you give them the same like ownership of assets, and you do it in a way where it's actually play to earn. And I'm not talking about you got to play 24 hours a day. I'm talking
Mm,
about 30 to 45 minutes a day. You play your game, you earn your assets. If you want to spend all day in the marketplace messing around in the marketplace trying to snipe good deals, if you want to go practice in PvP to move up and down the ladder, in our game, your earning capacity is limited per day. So within about 30 or 45 minutes, you've maxed out your earning capacity. And if you are more focused on tokens, you can play in the PvP arena. If you're more focused on getting NFT drops, so Valerians and weapons, then you can go to the dungeons. And if you're able
mm,
to beat the dungeon boss, you got drop rates and stuff. So you have limited earning capacity, but you can play the game as much as you want. You can play PvP to move up and down the ladder. You can play dungeons as practice. You could do unranked modes. You can play with your friends. You can spend time in the marketplace trying to snipe deals. We got shiny breeding, weapon crafting, Valerian evolutions, leveling up. We got a whole bunch of ways that you can have fun. You can play the game all day if you want, but the earning capacity is 30 to 45 minutes. So
yeah.
it's also a bot prevention mechanism as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about like again, it's not that anyone has done anything wrong. It's the
Right.
evolution, literally watching it evolve step by step. And I think this is the next evolution. I think play to earn the next step is that you don't build on earning, you
Yeah.
focus on playing and enjoyment and let the earning come organically. And that's an
Yeah.
old video. We
100%.
should probably have that edited or removed because we've made so many changes since that video.
Yeah. I saw you
We
guys
gotta
did a
actually
white
adjust.
paper 2.0.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
cool
has
looking
changed.
website. What do you
Yeah.
what do you guys take any inspiration? Like I know you said you grew up
Mhm.
in Pokemon. Do you guys take any
Yeah.
inspiration from any specific games where you were like, "That's dope. Let's add some of that into our game."
Oh man, I've said this on so many projects, but like from different elements. So for example, our Genesis landowners, the main benefit that they get is profit distribution and their share of 30% of our entire company's tokens. So so those are the two main benefits, right? So over 2 years, you're gonna get your share of your 30% of tokens linearly dropped to you. You can claim it at any time, but like it adds up linearly over a 2 year period. And what we've done is I'll tell you, but our profit distribution is also biweekly. So every 2 weeks, you get the profits of what the
Fire.
game is made. Not just this game, our company, because we plan on building more and more games. We're not stopping here. And I could talk about this for hours, but my point is, you get the profits of the company. That was inspired by Elysium. Elysium is an amazing game, and I was an early investor. I was, I think, $55. But when I
Wow.
invested, I'm like, can this work? You're giving everything back. They did revenue, we did
Hmm.
profit, and we adjusted our tokenomics, and I would like to say we improved on it. But I love Kieran, and I always wanted to do an in-game integration with Illuvium. Like that's the one that I really want. I hope
That'd be
we can
wild.
get. Yeah, that would be amazing. We've had so many projects. I fear following us. We had Gojira, Kaiju Kings, Llamaverse, Cyber Turtles. I don't know who we've announced. I got to be careful. Clementine's Nightmare, but I just want to make sure we've announced them. A Wolves, but they're all playable Pokemon. We call them Valerians,
Yeah.
but like playable in our game. They're not just there aesthetically. No, they're gonna have moves. You're gonna be able to summon them on the land. You're gonna be able to find them in the dungeon. They're fully integrated. You'll be able to evolve them and play with them. Now we're trying to get an Illivium line, but the point was to answer your question. Illivium inspired at Tokenomics.
Nice.
Pokemon inspired the Valerians. That all our
Fuck yeah.
designs are unique, but the evolving, the leveling
Yeah.
up, all of that is Pokemon. And then I would say that the gameplay is a real-time strategy, energy, and card-based game. But that's Clash Royale would be the closest thing people might recognize, but we're not
Mhm.
doing that. We have 3D models. Wait till we drop these. That's what I'm saying. When I see this floor price, I'm like, you didn't even get us a chance to drop some 3D models on you guys. You know what I mean? Give us some time. We're building here. We have so many surprises, right? So these 3D models, you'll see, we're really trying to focus on building a AAA game on mobile, which is very possible because the processing power of a mobile device is obviously much lower than a computer. So when I say
Right.
AAA on mobile, I don't mean like it's going to be a 4K, 1 million poly count 3D models and renders. It's going to be reasonable. But the point is like um, Clash Royale, except we want to have a camera angle that you can pan and enjoy the battle from different angles. Right? So it's energy and card based. Your energy bar fills up. The team that you bring into battle. So you bring Valerians, which are NFTs. You bring a weapon, which is an NFT. You bring your champion, which is an NFT. Whatever weapons, champions, and Valerians you bring, they each have a move set. Those moves become cards. So you build your team out and then you take them in, and based on your team, you get cards. And then you have an energy bar filling up, and then you choose the card you want to use and who you want to attack. But the thing is, we're
Mm.
not using, custom. Sorry, we're not using the library animations from Unity, custom animations. We're building these 3D models at like what I like to call AAA mobile quality, and we really want to make this game immersive, fun, and enjoyable. Faction battles and tournaments, weekly tournaments. We're in talks with a company to help us set up weekly tournaments. We're in talks with a company to help us with the Fiat on ramp. We're making like all these partnerships and game integration.
Mm.
There's so much to talk about. I could be here for 3 hours, but I don't want to go off track. Yeah, sorry,
Well,
man. I
you had said
ramble. I ramble.
no. I mean, that's really why you're here. You're here to ramble. I'm here to listen. I'm here to you. I mean, you're doing stuff that not a lot of people can say they're doing in this space. Build people. Everyone says we're building, but like
Hmm.
when you're actually building a product, building a brand or
Yeah.
something. Bryce said this was really interesting. He said earning is should always be a byproduct of enjoying what you do, and I absolutely agree with that. Same with my
Hmm.
YouTube channel. So I haven't dropped. One of the reasons I haven't dropped like an alpha pass. I'm like, look, if
Hmm.
you're watching my content, one, you probably like me if you're watching my content, but two,
Hmm.
you're gonna learn stuff and you're gonna make money like by as a byproduct of watching me. And so I don't
Yep.
need to tie myself and also like a little bit box myself in because I want to be a
Hmm.
YouTuber and an entertainer way outside the NFT world. And that's just my personal
I love
goals
it.
here. But for you guys, yeah, you're like, look, I mean, that's one aspect. Obviously, to make money, everyone
Hmm.
wants to. The play to earn is where we're headed, but the owning of assets is the most important part. And
Hmm.
you have to have a strong brain. You have to have people who want to hold that asset and bother to hold it,
Hmm.
especially if the market goes up and down. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, everyone in the NFT market is a little bit at risk of that. Just
Hmm.
in general, if the market crashes, then everyone says, "Oh, well, fuck that project. We're out. Like they suck anyway." And it's just like that's
Mm.
like the whole mentality of
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really really big on education. So like people can stop fly, like basically like a ship when a ship is like rocking back and forth and
Hmm.
everyone falls to this side when it's over here and
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone's bearish as fuck. And I'm like, well, if you had
Mm.
a little bit more intel and knew what was going on, you wouldn't lose your head every single time something dumb
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it's really important that people like you
Yeah.
who are in charge of a project also understand that, and you do because you've been in the
Hmm.
space for a minute. You've watched crypto kind of develop over the past few
Hmm.
years. What do you think about people who haven't who are starting a project
Hmm.
and they got into the space in I don't know December.
Yeah.
They've been in crypto for a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
Are they screwed? Like, what can you say that can maybe help them, or
Well,
things that maybe you learned, that
yeah.
they're gonna need to know?
I think about the space is hey, by the way, I had 4 NFT worlds. I flipped them. So why? Because when I saw it, I'm like, what was it, a 0.04 mint or a free mint? I can't even remember, but it was nothing. I minted a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I flipped them when I saw the floor went to like zero point 0.4. I'm like, oh, I made some good money. I never read their white paper. I never
Mm,
understood what they were doing. And so if
that's
it's a
brutal.
yeah,
That's
exactly. And
brutal.
now it's like what, 20th or 30th, but and
Yeah,
it's fine. It's the business. But what I'm saying is, if I read their white paper, I would have loved it. I know that.
yeah.
So all I'm saying is, if it's a PFP project, then you do what you do. If they tell you there's no utility, it's just a PFP, then that's just what it is. It's based off of hype and artists and et cetera, et cetera. But if you're buying something and they're promising you a roadmap, just do your research. And that's all I ask people to do for our project. It's like everyone that like is flipping right now, I'm just like, oh my God, I know you haven't read what we're doing here. Because like, for example, we have so many plans, but we don't announce them because if let's say we're going to give something and you tell them that this is coming, then what happens is right before the snapshot, the price goes up, everyone buys, and then the snapshot is taken, and then the price
Mhm.
drops, and then the thing drops, and the amount that it dropped
Every
by
time.
is the price of whatever you give them. Everything gets
Mhm.
priced in, so it goes up and then it drops. The difference is made up by what you gave them, for example. Everything gets priced in. We know that. I've been in the space for a while, so don't tell them. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and it's just like the way that we're operating right now, we're not rushing anything. We're not letting our community put pressure on us, and we're not letting our floor price put pressure on us. We're gonna
That's really
continue.
important.
Yes, even though like even though there's stuff I could do and say and leak, no, we have a game plan. For those that
Mm.
believe in us and read our white paper, hang tight. We got stuff coming. For those that are just looking for that quick flip, it's like read white papers. To answer your question, read white papers. That's my advice.
Yeah.
If you really want to get into NFTs, read white papers and invest in teams that you believe in. Because there is a lot of crowdfunding that happens in NFTs. So who do you want to invest in? Invest in teams, invest in people, and read white papers. I think that will help set you aside from 95% of crypto NFT investors. Because you'll actually I
Yeah.
would have held NFT worlds if I read their white paper. I would have held it. I
Yeah.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I didn't know anything about NFT worlds too, and I just saw the floor price rise. I
Hmm.
hadn't heard about it before. I mean, there's so many NFT projects
Yeah.
dropping everywhere that I couldn't cover all of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I found out what they were doing, I was like, oh fuck. I
Amazing.
was like, oh fuck.
It's
Okay.
like yeah,
Um,
the
but
technology,
okay,
the
so
patents for NFT worlds is
yeah, yeah,
going to be
yeah.
valuable.
Exactly, exactly. So in regards to people who want to build their own project, I think there's probably a lot more. I mean, it's just building a business, but
Hmm.
the difference with Web3 is you almost have no choice but to build with the community because that's
Mm.
what Web3 is like all about. It's all about the vibes, the community, whatever.
Hmm.
And so you have no choice but to do that. So what do you have to say for people who are in the same boat? They
Yeah.
they just started a few months ago. They're looking to start a project. There's a lot of people doing that. I think a
Hmm.
little bit too early. I think they're starting things that they don't really understand what's about to happen to their fucking life. What would you
Yeah.
say? Like, what's been some huge challenges
Yeah.
you've had to go through, or has it been pretty chill?
Oh man. So this is a funny question. JB asked when's reveals on Saturday, but for us, uh, we were doing 5 to 7 AMAs a day. We took a strategy that nobody else did.
Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. And we did that for about. It was mostly me and my project manager. But I think 75% of the AMAs I was doing, it was my primary task and responsibility. My project manager was organizing them and setting them up for me, but I would be double booked. I would have an AMA
Right.
at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I had days like that. And some
Jeez.
days I had two at 6. It was exhausting. It was time consuming. But when I thought to myself, this is the best use of my time. This is how you build a community. I did that for a month and a half. And what happened was I would go to each community and I would speak with them and I would tell them about what we're building. And from each community, you would get 10 or 15 real supporters. And that's what
Hmm.
you needed, like the true, genuine holders. There's people who hold 100 plus of our land, 80 plus, 90 plus. Those people were found in AMAs. The real, genuine, hardcore supporters. We never had an invite contest. The grind is slow at the beginning. AMAs is your strategy because any project who says no to an AMA but is willing to give away whitelist spots for you is fine. I'm not saying don't do it, but every project we reached out to, they said, can we do a collab? We'll give you some whitelist. They said, sure. Can we do an AMA though? That's a prerequisite. Almost
Mm,
every whitelist we did, every whitelist giveaway we did, almost every single one, an AMA was attached to it. Maybe one was without an
yeah.
AMA, if I remember. Maybe one and maybe we miscalculated. But every time we gave away whitelist, there was an AMA attached to it. And that was our prerequisite. I would always go into Discords and they would say, this is our first ever AMA in our Discord, and it's with Antebellum. I heard that so many times because we pushed founders, and they loved
Yeah.
it because they're like, "You believe in your project. You want people to ask you questions. All right, come in
Hmm.
and ask." I can't say this AMA schedule is going to work for everyone, but if you are someone who's new, founders are very, very happy to let you come talk to their people. They're
Yeah.
more than willing. So reach out to founders, reach out to projects, reach out to collab managers, and just go into their Discord and try to get an opportunity to talk to people, assuming
Hmm.
you have something that you really believe in and you're able to answer questions on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. My pin tweet on Twitter is something along the lines of if you can speak to a camera and you can do that shit right and you can
Yeah.
deliver something,
Hmm.
you're gonna that's the key. That's the
Yeah.
key to your brand. If you're I mean it's similar to like the president. A lot of people are shitting on Biden because the man can't talk. Like I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
don't care
Yeah.
what you think
Yeah.
about his
Yeah.
like his decision
Politics.
making on
Yeah.
that. Like the man can't speak in front of a camera and it's
Hmm.
terrible. It's
Yeah.
painful to watch.
Hmm.
It's embarrassing sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like that's one of those things that's like fuck, like that's really important if you're going to be a founder of a project, or
Yeah.
if you need to identify for yourself. And this is where Gary Vee's like self-awareness bit comes in. He's like, if you
Hmm.
can't speak to a camera, if you're not good with people, you need to
Mm.
be something else. You can't be the CEO who's in
Yeah.
charge of reaching out to people
Yeah.
and the guy that everyone
Yes.
calls when they say come on a podcast. You got to get someone who can do that shit.
You're right.
And you're doing that.
Yeah.
You've also got the experience that you built because you, even if you sucked before, after doing AMA up like every single day, like there's no choice
Yeah.
but for you to
Yeah.
grow in
Yeah.
confidence, and the way
Yeah.
you speak, the way you storytell, your brand, and the
Mhm.
growth you had. That I mean, I see fucking people in the chat right now who started neutral and they're like, whoa, like
Yeah,
Antebellum, like
yeah,
literally right
yeah.
now. So it's pretty
That's
funny.
amazing, man. I appreciate them. Thank you, guys. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I had experience in this from 2.0 life. I was a trainer,
Hmm.
which I was always in front of people. Currently, I'm a consultant, but I used to be a trainer as well. So I used to
Hmm.
go out in groups in front of people of 30, 40 people and give out product training and stuff like that. So I got very comfortable speaking in front of people. But I'll tell you one other benefit of AMAs. When I did my first AMA, I had some answers. I had most
Hmm.
answers. By the time I did my last AMA, I had every answer
I bet, dude. I
because
bet.
anything that came up in between, something that me and my team hadn't thought of, I told them
Hmm.
genuinely that's something I'm going to take away, and then we would go
Yeah.
solve that problem. This was a benefit that I didn't think we would get from it, but by the end
Mm.
there was nothing you can ask me about how we're going to do something and I didn't know the answer. Maybe there is, I'm sure there's still stuff nobody thought of to ask, but I can
Mm.
comfortably say no one in the NFT space from the 125 projects we collab with thought of to ask, and we didn't think of to ask. But like it's
Yeah.
just that amount of value that we got from there. So many amazing ideas, so many amazing questions, so many things we didn't even think of. Our project grew so much from there to where we are now. We had IMX's product manager in one of our AMAs. And they built,
Wow.
yeah, and they introduced us to blockchain engineers at IMX, and now we're in discussions
Mm.
about building on IMX. That's why that video said Polygon. But I
Mm.
actually met with the IMX team through an AMA, and now we're in touch with them. I did an AMA with Neo Tokyo. The Shrapnel team, sorry, the collab manager knew the Shrapnel team who made a play to earn game on the Avalanche subnet, and they introduced us to them all
Hmm.
through AMAs. That's what I mean. Like, there's so much value and connections that were made through AMAs. Any project that's looking to get off, go and talk to people. And like you said, Kate brought up a very good point. Make sure you put the right person to do that job.
Yeah.
To do that, yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, 100%. And you just hit on something that's super I'd say probably underrated in the space, which is the connections you make. That's
Yeah,
literally everything. That's
yeah,
that's how I've gotten to where I'm at.
yeah,
It's partially in due to the amount of videos I put out, but it's also like the people I've been connected to is pretty fucking wild. And then those doors open up other doors
yeah.
that just weren't available before. You truly are
Hmm.
one person away from pretty much everybody on earth. Like you probably know someone who knows Gary Vee or knows some fucking billionaire or is
Hmm.
like 4 people away from Musk or
Yeah,
something wild like that. And that's the thing. Like we're in a world where you can literally put out a tweet. Like you could on Antebellum just put out a tweet and say Elon Musk, what's up? And he could literally see that and say what's up
yeah,
back. And then like
yeah,
boom, and you've got this connection now. And
yeah.
it's the wildest part about Web3 and this whole like little cult that we're in right now. And Bryce says the same thing. Organic networking
Yeah,
is
yeah.
everything. Yeah, it's so important. And it comes just from like exactly like Twitter Spaces is something that's great and super
Hmm.
underrated in my opinion. It's so underrated that I don't even do it. And I need to do it more of. I just
Hmm.
fucking forget. Honestly, I don't even
Yeah,
know. I don't do it enough, and it's really
yeah.
important because there's a lot of people, especially in the NFT world, who don't want to get on video,
Hmm.
but they're totally chill to do a Twitter Space. You know,
Hmm.
there's no pressure. You put your phone up on your bed. You can just hang up there, look at the ceiling, and fucking just talk and like talk about all the things
Yeah.
you're excited about. So has it been mainly on Twitter Spaces that you've done those AMAs?
We've done both. We've done Twitter Space and Discord. It was always up to the community, whoever we were collabing with. If they preferred Twitter, we would do Twitter. If they preferred the Discord AMA, we would do Discord. But we would do both. Yeah.
What do you think people are most excited about for Antebellum specifically?
I think those who've read the white paper are really excited about the fact that our marketplace and our tokenomics are something that's completely unique to the space. When I was speaking with my developer, and I told him I want to make sure that because we have 4 NFTs, and I should clarify this: our Genesis land sale is meant to make you money. That's you funded the remaining development of this game. You get tokens, you get profits, and you also summon Valerians and weapons passively on your land. But that's a bonus. The main thing is you get weapons and you get tokens. Now, here's the thing about those tokens: we have limited the ways that they're generated passively. The landowners will be the only people able to generate tokens passively. So what I mean by that is a lot of tokens will allow you to stake the token and generate more
Hmm.
tokens passively. We don't have that. A lot of companies go to pre-seed investors, give them a whole bunch of shares of the company, and then all of these tokens are going to be dumped. We don't have that. A lot of companies use token airdrops as a marketing strategy. We don't have that. Basically, what we're saying is the exception to the rule is our Genesis landowners. But if we put the Genesis landowners to the side, and this is why they're going to be so valuable, we've limited the ways the tokens can be created or put into circulation. So, for example, let's say we have 100 players playing the game, and 100 players win PvP battles in rank, which I know is not possible. Okay, let's say 50 of them win, and they get one token per win. So we
Hmm.
gave out 50 tokens from the reward pool, and that was put into circulation. But let's say you have 5 million players playing. 2.5 million of them win ranked battles. 2.5 million tokens went into circulation. The tokens in circulation are correlated with the active player base. And this is it's key for the tokenomics.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
and so what we've done is limit all the other ways tokens can be generated and said this is, and then what we've done on top of that is everything in our game needs the token. If you want to do an in-game purchase, token. In-game transaction, token. So for example, let's say you have 3 level 1 Valerians of the same type. You want to level it up to level 2. You got to burn 3 level 1s and you get a single level 2. Then you got to burn 3 level 2s, you get a single level 3. That evolves at level 5 and level 10. So the Valerians are deflationary, which is great. But each one of these transactions has a token cost associated with it. Weapon crafting, shiny breeding, token cost associated with it. Now here's the big one, our marketplace, which will be seamlessly integrated into our mobile game. The token is the only thing you can buy, sell, and trade Valerians, weapons, and champions with. We went to our developer and said, we don't want this traded on OpenSea. And they were like,
Hmm.
what? They said, we've never had that request. And I said, well, this is our ecosystem. We need to create utility and demand for this token. We don't
Hmm.
want people selling and trading our Valerians on ETH. No, it's our
Right.
token, it's our marketplace, and that's what we want. And we were able to do it. Obviously, it's something we're able to do. But the point was, this ecosystem is completely unheard of. Building this entire ecosystem where if a new player comes in, your token price goes up. Why? Because that new player needs the token to do every single thing in the game. So new players come in, they need the token to get started, to buy their first booster pack or whatever, whatever. So this allowed us to create an ecosystem where you let more people come in, as opposed to the current stake to earn or play to earn meta, which is a high barrier to entry, 1 or 2 ETH, hard to get in, but once you get in, you start making money. Ours is the opposite. The more, the merrier. The more people that
Mm.
come in, the more demand for the token. So let's get as many people in as possible. And then that leads me to like our marketing strategy. When we go on mobile and you download our game, you'll have two options: connect wallet, continue without a wallet. If you continue without a wallet, that means you're someone who doesn't know what an NFT is. You're in the 2.0 world. So when you catch your first Valerian, a prompt is going to come up. Hey, did you
Right.
know that you can own this as a Valerian and sell it on our market? Sorry, did you know you can own this as an NFT and sell it on our marketplace? Click here to find out more. Take them to a YouTube video, tell them what an NFT is, ownership of asset is, what the benefits of selling it on the marketplaces, and how to create a MetaMask app, MetaMask wallet on your app. Within 10 minutes, you took someone who doesn't know what a wallet is to creating their first wallet, and you've integrated them into the 3.0 world, a
Mm.
completely untapped market that nobody's going for. Their mindset is different from our mindset in the NFT space, which
Sure.
is quick flip, make money. They're there to spend money for enjoyment. We're saying,
Yeah.
no, spend money, own your
Mm.
stuff, sell it, and it's like that's just mind blowing to them. So we're going to introduce
Yeah.
them to their world. So yeah, that's a little bit, a few of the things that I'm very excited about is our tokenomics, our marketing strategy to onboard new people when the game comes out, and how we've correlated the circulating supply with active player base, and how we've created this entire ecosystem built on the demand for our token.
Yeah, and that aspect of bringing them in because they don't have that mindset beforehand is really smart.
Hmm.
What do you think about the fact that OpenSea is partnering up with MoonPay to where you literally don't even have to participate now in anything related? Like that was like the whole point
Yeah,
of us doing this whole thing, and now we're like going away from that just to onboard more people. Is that a step in the wrong direction, or is that just like an inevitable, I don't know, sidestep or one step back, two steps forward type of deal?
I have to look into MoonPay. If that was something recent, I've been
It
disconnected
was.
because of this
It was
project.
in the last few
Yeah.
days.
Oh yeah, everything is just. But tell me
Yeah, yeah,
more
they
about
just
it. I'm
partnered
very
up.
curious to learn more about it. What's the
Yeah, so
implications of
MoonPay
it?
and OpenSea just struck up a deal, just as MoonPay has been striking up deals with a few
Hmm.
Bored Ape whales, and they do a
Hmm.
lot of influencer marketing type deal, and that's working pretty well for the Bored Ape
Hmm.
Yacht Club. I'd say I'm sure they're in talks, but
Hmm.
OpenSea is partnering with MoonPay, and they're offered. You can literally buy an NFT with a credit card now. You don't have to use
Oh, okay,
Ethereum. It is
okay, I
fucking
see.
wild. And so, what
Mm.
do you think about that? Just literally straight off the cuff, because you just heard about it.
Yeah, no, I'd have to process it first. Okay, so if they're purchasing it from a credit card, the advantage is the onboarding aspect. The
Right.
disadvantage is it's no longer decentralized. Like
Hmm.
we went back to KYC. I can see why people would enjoy it from a KYC perspective. Obviously, it would be easier to tax, right? So these
Right.
are the implications that I'm thinking of. It's going to be easier to regulate, easier to tax. So I can see why government regulations and bodies like that would enjoy it.
Right.
And the only advantage I can see from the NFT community is we help introduce NFTs to more people. But eventually, I could see that this could be somehow, this KYC of NFTs could somehow begin to, oh, look, there is an example of NFTs being regulated. Just buy them through
Hmm.
MoonPay and your credit card. So from
Right.
now on, you can only do it this way. Or, who knows? I'm just saying, like, it's a dangerous road to go down.
Yeah.
If as long as it stays where it is, then that's fine. If you want to bring more people in with 3.0, no problem. With the credit card, no problem. But it does remove the decentralization aspect of it, though.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I can't decide what I think about either, because regardless of what, pretty much blockchain technology is, it's kind of
Hmm.
like technology in general is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's
Yeah,
going to come. Blockchain makes better sense. You get more
yeah,
ownership. You can track everything. Like, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren was, it was
yeah.
like a viral clip where she was like, "Well, can't you just hop from one blockchain to the other and just like run away with the money?" And the guy's sitting there like, "No, that's not how anything works." And it was so embarrassing. But I'm like, that. I mean,
Oh
this,
my God.
we're moving toward that direction
Mm,
inevitably. So it's like, is this little step of moving back, is it a bad thing? Because we're going to get so many people flooded into the
mm,
marketplace. I'm sure Coinbase is going to do something like it.
yeah.
We're going to get, millions of more people in, and then they start to just be in the world of OpenSea, be in the world of
Mm,
Coinbase NFT, trading NFTs, and then they say, "Oh wait, so I can have my own power over this money. I don't have to call Wells Fargo up because I transferred out $1,200 on a Tuesday morning, and they're figuring out what's wrong with me, and they
yeah.
froze my account."
Mm,
And like, that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
most
yeah.
annoying thing. But now that these people, these normies, we can call them these
Yeah, yeah.
muggles,
The,
are running around.
yeah,
They
yeah,
have this money, but
yeah,
then
yeah.
they link their wallet to a scam website. They lost all their money now, and they're saying,
Mm,
"Wait, who can I call?" It's like,
yeah.
well, you
Nope.
can't call anybody because
Yeah.
you lost that money. That's the thing with Web
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
But
You want to
so
make it that easy for people to come in.
exactly, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
we're literally in the Wild West. I know everybody says
yeah.
that, but I don't know if people zoom out enough to think about why we're like, what that really means. The fact that we're in the Wild West, we don't know shit right now. We don't know
Mm,
what it's going to look like in 5 years. I
mm,
remember 6 months ago, 7 months ago, in the summer, I was thinking, man, I messed up something in my MetaMask. Let me just look up on YouTube. I'm sure someone's made a video on this. Not a single person has made a video on it.
wow.
Like, it was so brand new, and that's where we're at in this world right now.
Mhm,
And you've navigated this world pretty well. You've
mhm.
had a successful part to your project.
Thank you.
What were you like before? Were you into this shit? Like, were you a gamer back then? Like,
Oh
what were
yeah.
you like in high school? Were
Oh
you out
yeah.
going to parties, doing
Ah,
all the things, or like, what were you doing?
I'm a bit of an introvert by nature, but people when they get to know me and they're comfortable with me, they don't believe that I'm an introvert, but I do actually prefer staying home, playing games. Like Dota 2 is what I grew up on. I was playing a lot of Dota 2. I didn't really get into League. Dota was my choice. Played a little
Mhm.
bit of Diablo 3, Warzone, all the Call of Duty franchises. Right now, like if I'm playing anything that I have time for, you'll catch me on Warzone. That's the only game currently have time for. So I do still play some Warzone. But Pokemon was huge. Like Sword and Shield when it came out, I was top 500 in the world at one point. Yeah, like
Woo!
I'm still competitive in Sword and Shield. I'll still come in and do some crazy battles and like the two obviously
Damn.
duos. But yeah, like so like I still love to enjoy these games. And in high school I was on the basketball team. I love to play sports, but aside from that, no, I'd go home, play some games, love TV, love watching different shows and stuff like that. No one's ever asked me that. You caught me off guard. Everyone asked me about the project. You're asking me about, hey,
Yeah.
who are you as a person? That's
Well, I'm
deep,
sure there's
man.
a lot of people in here who've been
Yeah,
into a bunch of your MAs, so I'm sure they've
yeah.
heard something. I mean, every single time you say it, it gets
Mm,
better and better each time.
yeah,
But I think there are super important aspects of all projects that are missed when you don't figure out who these people are.
yeah.
as just normal as humans
Yeah,
and like the psychology behind it. That's why I love podcasts because you
yeah,
can kind of get into the nitty
I
gritty
love it.
stuff about like why they do things or where they got to a certain point.
Yeah.
So like when you were growing up, how old are you right now?
I'm what, 31, 32, 32 now.
31,
Yeah.
32. So like in your 20s, I'm 23.
Mm,
So in your 20s, where like were you thinking you were going to be an entrepreneur, start your own company, or were you kind of like
mm. No,
where was
no,
your head at?
no. For me, I love the safety of a job, of a 9 to 5. As a matter of fact, there's still a part of that in me because I still work my 9 to 5.
Hmm.
And like for this company, like yes, my I have 2 kids, and that's the reason why for me it's like I'm very cautious with that because I'm not
Sure.
milking the money out of this mint. This is very clear. That's why I still go to my 9 to 5 every single day. I was off today, thank God, because it was a long weekend. But I'm back. I'm back at it on Monday, and
Yeah.
until the game comes out, until everything is operational, I'm not a huge risk taker. And now having a family and kids, I'm even more cautious. So I always loved the comfort of working a 9 to 5. That's why my entire professional career was 9 to 5. Go to school, and then worked at Costco for a bit, and but then
Hey, I just went to Costco today. We love
I
Costco.
love
Fuck
Costco. It
yeah.
was an amazing job, and they're a great company. But then I'm at TD Bank. I was a business analyst there, and that was one of my first roles in the career, in like a
Hmm.
really professional corporate environment, and I loved it. I learned so much about the operations of a company on the back end, how a decision is made, risk assessment, risk management. I learned so much in the business analyst role. And then the financial crash happened in 2004, the
Hmm.
big financial crash, tons of layoffs. So that's how it happened. And then from there, started with the insurance industry. I got my license, became a trainer, manager, consultant, worked my way up, done tons of roles. This opportunity was something that I spent a lot of time talking about and a lot of time thinking about once I learned about NFTs and their potential. At first, when I learned about NFTs, I'm like, it's a scam. Just like everyone else. It's just
Yeah.
a knee-jerk reaction. It's a scam. And then I thought, okay, but you're telling me digital ownership, okay, Pokemon. What if
Hmm.
I could own my Pokemon? That's the thought. Like now they have that Pokemon hub where it's like,
Hmm.
you have like the Pokemon home, but you can't sell it still. And like, imagine if World of Warcraft had a marketplace or RuneScape had a marketplace where like you could cash out. Like they have their marketplace, but I mean like one where you could actually sell for money. People do it with Bitcoin. That's where Bitcoin started from. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This is where it all originated, is because people wanted desperately a marketplace. So it's like the demand is there. Just give people ownership of the assets. I think in 5 years, no successful gaming studio is going to be able to launch a game and not give ownership of their assets. Five to
Exactly,
ten
because
years.
someone else is gonna do it, and they're gonna be like, "All right, so why aren't you doing it? Like, it's
Exactly.
clearly working so well."
Exactly.
And some people are. It's funny. It's like I don't know if you saw this. This is also a super recent announcement. Meta, Facebook,
Yeah.
came out with their idea for marketplace or token, and they're going to charge 47% tax, basically
They're
40,
a
almost
token.
half percent. And yeah, so basically they were like, if you do anything on our marketplace, we keep 47%, and the backlash was unbelievable,
Mm,
obviously, because everyone's pissed, and that makes no sense, and people are so mad
yeah.
about it. And there's going to be clear winners and clear losers. It's going to
Hmm.
be wild seeing which, because I don't know how I feel about. I love Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see how and if Pokemon comes into the NFT world and how they
Hmm.
implement it, because how these established companies that are already going navigate this Web3 space
Yeah.
could potentially like run their shit into the ground. If
Hmm.
Pokemon comes in and they fuck it up and everyone loses all their money, this whole new wave of people who didn't grow up maybe with Pokemon,
Hmm.
they got no emotional. I got emotional tie with Pokemon.
Yeah.
If I got a Pikachu mint, it's over. I had
I
never
know.
signed that. I don't care how
Yeah,
much it
yeah,
goes up
yeah.
to because I
I'm
grew up
buying
with
into
it.
it.
But
Yeah.
there's kids who are like teenagers who are growing up right now. They don't give a fuck about Pokemon. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's that thing my friend used to play or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be really interesting how those companies come in, and I don't know how I feel about the new companies coming in
Yeah. Hmm.
and how that dynamic is going to be. Like, how is Pokemon gonna fare compared to Antebellum Games? Like, are
Hmm.
they gonna be in the same level? Because Antebellum Games started in Web3. They know their shit.
Yeah.
Pokemon kind of knows their shit, but they probably had to hire
Hmm.
someone who came in and they've got to like do a different style. So what are your thoughts on new projects versus the established ones?
It's funny because actually a company did reach out to us. They're a big gaming studio, and they reached out to us and asked us that very question. They're like, "We want to come into the NFT space. Can you help us?" And the
Yeah.
funniest thing is with the NFT space is you cannot throw money at it. Anyone who knows their worth is like, if like you're obviously into NFTs, but if someone who doesn't know anything about NFTs gives a shout out, like what was that one? I forget the one. You guys know the football player or whatever it was. He's like, they got a million. I forget what he was saying, but the point is, whatever he said made no sense. Like the Discord has a million whitelists or something like that. Just something that made
Oh
no
God.
sense in the context. Yeah, but you could tell he was just paid to say it. You can't throw
Yeah,
money at it.
yeah.
If you do a Twitter promoted ad in the NFT space, it's like, that's not the way to go. You know what I mean? Or you
Yeah.
use certain hashtags. It's like, hashtags, like whitelist giveaway hashtag. Like those who are deep in the space, they know that you can't throw money at this. You got to build connections and you got to build
Hmm.
organically. So I hear what you're saying. Pokemon wants to come in. I'm sure all the founders would love to work with them, but they're not going to
Right.
be able to throw money at it. They'll have to sit
Hmm.
down and do the work. They'll have to sit down with founders, speak with them, tell them about what they're doing. Okay, like, can we get your support? Yeah, we can. Like they're gonna have to build somewhat organically with a huge advantage compared to anybody else. They'll have this huge advantage, but they won't be able to throw $1 million at it. I think.
Yeah.
Not if they want long lasting. Initial hype and FOMO, absolutely. But if they really want the support from the community, they're gonna have to build somewhat organically
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The Web3 world, or just not even Web3, are the new wave of social media,
Hmm.
especially through TikTok, and we've got to see that you can blow up just from being authentic and just
Yeah.
like putting it, like literally the amount of people who've blown up putting a camera, yeah, on their dashboard and
Yeah.
just talking shit about something, and then a million people come see that, and now they got
Yeah.
30,000 followers, kind of thing. That happens every single day,
Yeah.
and we're in a world now where you can't get away with that bullshit
Yeah.
anymore. People can smell it like right off the
Mm.
bat. That's why when I joined this space back in like September is when I started
Yeah.
making NFT content. It was easy for me because I saw everyone's doing promotional videos, promotional stuff, and then not telling them. But it was so obvious
Mm.
to me, and I was like, at some point, people are going to catch on because it's coming. I just know there's more people coming. There's no way it's not going to happen. So I came in. I said, I don't do paid promos. I only do the reviews. That's my shtick. And I ran with that, and so that worked really well for me. I was pretty
Mhm.
much the only person doing that for a while, or to my knowledge at least. And then all the big YouTubers started to follow that because they were like, shit,
Mm.
everyone can smell a paid promo like immediately. So it hurts me now. So like I can't do it anymore. And so now all these projects that were relying on these paid promos are fucked. Like the amount of projects that come in and say paid promo and you say no, and I'm like, I offer this
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
a review where I can go
Yeah.
in, no bias. I don't give a fuck how it does. I'm just
Exactly.
gonna review the project. I'll be fair.
Mhm.
Never hear a response. 7 times out of 10, I don't get a
Yeah.
response. 2 out of 10 times they say they're interested, never hear from
Yeah.
them again.
Yeah.
And 1 out of 10 say, okay, let's roll with it.
Yeah.
And it shows that there's a lot of great projects out there, but there's a lot of projects that
Mhm.
are here for the money, and it's really hard to know which
Yeah.
projects are here because of the bag and which projects are here because they have a dream they want to fulfill
Yeah.
out.
You're right, man. It's 1 out of 10. I think that's the ratio right there. The numbers
Yeah,
you gave, I think 1 out of 10 is basically what everyone should approach NFT projects as. Is one out
yeah,
of 10 good ones, and it's funny that you say that, man, because you can't throw money at it, and I appreciate the stance you took. Whereas I'm not saying I'm not here to take a position on paid promo versus no paid promo. I'm just saying the position that you took, in my opinion, goes in line with what I just said about NFT space. You cannot throw money at it.
hmm,
You can't, like, you can try on Instagram, go get 10 million influencers, no,
right,
sorry, an influencer with 10 million followers who does nothing but NFTs, pay them $1 million to do a shout out or a promo. Wonderful. Anyone who's deep in the space is not falling for that. The normies,
right,
when they come in, that's the problem. So
yeah,
Coinbase lets all these normies come in, expect the influencer, expect
yeah.
the paid promos, expect it all to come back. You gotta
It's
balance
gonna be
this thing.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is gonna be a. I don't think people are ready. I think they saw this little month that we've been in this slump.
Hmm.
I think people are really figuring out whether or not they have the stomach for this. I'm like, look, if you can't handle this, this wasn't even bad. Like it sucked, but this shit is not bad compared to what we're gonna see. We're gonna see a pretty bad dump, but we're also gonna see if you can't hang with the lows, like you don't
Yeah.
deserve to be here when Coinbase comes in and 15 million people come in.
Yeah.
There's like I don't know how many million people on the wait
Hmm.
list to get into that Coinbase NFT, but that is gonna be electrifying.
Yeah.
The people who were in crypto, like Journey Crypto, like Elio Trey, some of those bigger YouTube channels who've
Hmm.
been making crypto content for years, they fucking exploded in 2021,
Hmm.
2020 because of the amount of people that came into crypto. There was a
Right.
massive influx. The same thing's going to happen to
Hmm.
NFTs. We saw a pretty big jump, but we're not even close to that big
Yeah.
jump. And I saw people like Journey Crypto go from 40K to
Hmm.
800K in like 14 months. And I'm like, yo, the NFT space is
Yeah.
going to be so much bigger than the
Hmm.
crypto world because of the fact that we can get emotionally tied to even plots of land, like even
Yeah.
your gents plots of land.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to be bringing in money,
Hmm.
but people are gonna be like, oh, but that's my land. I like that
Yeah.
piece of
Yeah.
grass on my land. Like I like the
Yeah.
way it
Yeah.
looks,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they're going to get attached to it. And that's the biggest risk with NFTs that a lot of people can't sell because they're like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm up 45x right now, and I should take profits because I can buy back in.
But I
And that's
can't.
where like understanding markets is really
Mhm.
important. But with Antebellum, you guys obviously are doing all the AMAs. I'm sure
Mhm.
everyone's like people are learning a bunch of stuff just in general
Yeah.
about NFTs and stuff. What are your biggest your not your biggest, your most common questions that you're seeing in your AMAs? Like, what are people thinking about? Because that's a really good way to gauge where people are at. You know.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what the biggest concerns people have and our biggest challenges as a company. I think it's great to talk about not just the pros, the exciting stuff, but we also talk about
Mhm.
like what our biggest challenges are and how we're planning on overcoming them. But it's iOS store, the Android store, doing stuff on the iOS and Android store. We've gone over their terms and service. We've spoken with lawyers. Everything we want to do, we want to build this on chain. We don't want to build it off chain. We actually want to do everything on chain, on your mobile app. We already have the API for the wallet integration and the running of NFTs on the blockchain to mobile apps. All of that's fine. Is the iOS store going to give us a hard time? So we have backup plans across backup plans, but that's one thing. Like, okay, we can make this part of it off chain. Okay, you don't like this part. Okay, this part will be
Yeah.
off chain, and we have all these measures in place. But I think that's one thing that people are like, and I just try to tell them, just because it hasn't been done does not mean it can't be done. Don't confuse the two,
Absolutely.
because like you said, this is a whole crazy space right now, and just because no one's tried it doesn't mean it can't be done. I've read through their terms of service, combed through them with a lawyer. Nothing in there saying we can't do it. They've actually have an article about NFTs. Their issue with NFTs is if you have NFTs being sold somewhere else and
Mhm.
then retraded here, that's their problem. We don't have
Gotcha.
that. Our marketplace is in the mobile app. All our
Mhm.
NFTs are being generated in the mobile app.
Mm.
Dungeons, weapons, they're coming from the mobile app and the marketplace is there too. So this is what I'm saying. People need to know, like we've spoken, we've looked into this stuff, and what we're saying is very possible, and we know what the challenges are. So that you won't be able to run an OpenSea on iOS. Like if you
Mhm.
try to create a derivative of like an OpenSea on mobile, Apple will stop you because those NFTs are being minted somewhere else, and then you're only retrading them here. So this is different. That's what I mean. So just letting people know that we've spent a lot of time, we've looked into this, and our reveal is tomorrow. But this isn't a PFP project. This land, yes, for 2 years you get your share of the profits. After,
Sure.
sorry, your share of the company, your the 30% of all the tokens. After that, you get profit distribution forever. Now, I just want to paint this picture, and this is what I imagine one day. You have a fixed supply of tokens. That fixed supply of tokens is required to take care of your player base of, let's say, 50,000 players. And those players need this token to do every single thing. In order for you to progress through the game, you're going to have to level up Valerians. You're going to have to make them stronger. Okay, so now your Valerians get stronger. That means you got access to better dungeons. You can battle at a higher PvP tier for more tokens and better rewards. What happens when players reach this 6 month mark or this 8 month mark, where the rewards that they're getting is no longer worth reinvesting? They're having fun, they love the lore, they're enjoying the gameplay. They just unlocked dungeon level 18, giving them great rewards. They're fighting in one of the strongest PvP tiers, and the tokens that they get for winning a battle there are just too enticing. So they decide
Right.
to start selling. As a company, how do you prepare for that day? When that day comes, what we're doing is our proceeds from our. I've always said I want to do this. Now that we've sold out, I get to say we are doing this. We have
Let's go.
we have budgeted proceeds for this from the mint for startup funds for game number two, and we're going to use the way that we're developing our 3D assets is that we're building them on such a high resolution that we can dumb them down for the mobile. But it's almost like they're being built on Unity, but it's going to be such high quality assets that you can use them on PC because one day we want to have an NFT
Nice.
interoperability. Launch an MMORPG role playing game, drop a whole new collection of Valerians with whole new in game integration announcements. Because while this game is going on, all the in game integration requests that we're getting are going to have to be pushed to game number two because we have
Right.
150 Genesis Valerians. At this point, 15 are ours. 135 are other projects. We started with like,
Right.
okay, we'll save 50, 80 slots for them. Our whole Valerian collection is going to be other projects' inspired artwork. So we literally are the Smash Bros of the NFT space now. But the point is,
Love
as
it.
more and more requests come in, as we get bigger and bigger, bigger projects reach out, we start taking their names, start rendering their assets, and start getting ready for game number two. And then you can move the NFTs in between as well. So that's going to be on PC, open world MMORPG. Now, here's the thing: what is the token required to do anything in that second game? Same token as our first game. So what you've
Gotcha.
taken, if you stretched the circulating supply between two games, two player bases now. Third game comes out, stretch it further. And so you never run into the problem of over circulation. You actually eventually
Right.
run
Right.
into the opposite problem because we have limited the ways the tokens get circulated. We've limited how it gets circulated. So right away you have a circulating issue. And then you keep stretching it between each game and the player base grows between each game. And then it's like, oh my God, this token is going to have tons of value. We're going to have the opposite problem. We're going to have
Hmm.
to say, how do we solve this problem that our token is required to do every single thing and there's not enough tokens in circulation?
Right.
That's the problem that we're going to have if we are able to complete our vision.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
What you said a minute ago about it can't be done until it is. You know, nothing's impossible.
Hmm.
That's rings true in my ears. I
Yeah.
remember my dad told me a story a long time ago. It was a tennis team that they always played, and they've been
Hmm.
losing for 20 years straight. And he was like, "We can't beat Heathwood. We just can't fucking beat him. They always beat us." He said, "The one year we fucking beat him somehow, and we have not lost in 30 years." And he was like, "It's just one of those things that like it just doesn't matter.
Insane.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out someone who
Hmm.
can figure it out, and like someone
Exactly.
will always come along and have a new
Hmm.
idea. And the good thing is you always build on other people's
Hmm.
ideas. Like everything we know is because someone else 100 years ago figured it out when everyone was saying you can't do this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening to a podcast a minute ago with Lex Fridge, and they were talking about how people are like, you're not going to be able to get this in the air. Like planes
Hmm.
aren't a thing. That it just doesn't make physical sense how you could get a
Yeah.
plane that's that heavy. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
10 years later, they're like flying planes. 50 years later,
Yeah.
there's like going to the fucking moon.
Exactly.
And it's like people, we are very resilient when we want to
Yeah.
be, and when we see a
Hmm.
little glimpse of light, we shoot toward it. And so
Hmm.
that's where innovators in the space and people who aren't, because I would say like maybe you think you're not high risk, but this, in a sense, is like super high risk. Like you're diving into a world of
Hmm.
blockchain where everything is traceable. You can always go back and say, this motherfucker started a project 20 years ago and it went to nothing. So he's a soft rugger.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see
Yeah.
a lot of those people. There's
Mm.
some people already getting burned
Yeah.
in the space who've taken some short term
Yeah.
bags. I saw with the Starcatchers artist got caught
Hmm.
out doing a little scam for his own community. He took
Yeah.
like 40 ETH or something.
Right.
He's
Right.
done for. He's done
Yeah.
for forever.
In
There's
the
no
in the
chance because
3.0
people are
space
always going to
and
remember.
2.0 space. Even in the 2.0
Yeah.
space, one day that is going to translate, I think.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about that? I remember what's his name, the Wolf of Wall Street, the original Wolf
Hmm.
of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort came on to TikTok and said, "Look, these feds are gonna come after you." He goes, "I don't
Hmm.
care who you think you are. This shit is traceable." He's like, "You're
Hmm.
gonna get caught. It's
Yeah.
linked to your bank account at some point. It
Hmm.
goes back if you took
Yeah.
money out. It's gonna go back to your bank account. So unless you kept it all in ETH and no one knows what your public wallet
Hmm.
address is, you're probably gonna get caught. Like, what do you think it's gonna look like? Is that gonna be in like a 5-year thing? When is the
Yeah.
government gonna catch up?"
Well, look, that one guy got caught and he put the money through a tornado and they still
Mhm.
caught him. So even like you're not safe. You can't put it through a tornado. If you
Right.
ever want to cash it out, you're gonna have to have answers. You're gonna have to have questions. So full decentralization, I think, is still far, far away. Like full
Yeah.
genuine decentralization, because at the same time, we still need our banks to on ramp and off ramp our funds. If you want to use your money in the crypto space to buy NFTs, but if you want to buy a house, unless the day
Right.
comes where you can buy a house in crypto, let's pray for that day. Like fingers crossed, you can buy a house in crypto one day. But until that day comes, the banks are still going to be there, your on ramp and your off ramp, and it's always going to be traceable at that point. I mean, you can get into like some criminal stuff, and
Right.
like you said, tornado, put it in a tornado, flee the country. But the point is, look at what you had to do. You rugged some people on the internet, which a year ago, if you didn't, no questions would have been asked. Now you're over here thinking about I gotta flee the country, and then that's progress. So we'll
Yeah.
take that as a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think we're gonna be? I recently, so in the last probably 2 or 3 months, I watched
Hmm.
Ready Player One. I've
Oh,
seen
I love
Avatar.
that
I've seen
movie.
those movies.
Yeah.
Well, is that a thing? Are we headed into something like that for real? You think?
I honestly don't know. Like I mean I have a VR headset. That's as far as my VR knowledge goes. But I love VR, man. Ready Player One was honestly one of my favorite movies. I have to say, I
The
love
movie's
that
wild.
movie. It was amazing. The idea, just the concept of it. How scary is it? And then Facebook comes and does what they do, and then
Yep.
right away, like it's like, oh man, we're on pace to do this. I think people will adopt it. This is just me talking. I'm no professional in this. I got no expertise here, but
Yeah.
I think people will adopt it. I don't think I know like I saw this one interview where people are like, do you know what other countries all around the world are doing? They're growing, they're developing, they're building, they're evolving, and we're going to be here stuck in our headsets and our imaginary worlds. Like, is that going to remove all the other things going on in the world, like politics and drama and war and this and that? Like, is all of that going to go away? Like, what if our entire next generation is just VR? I love it though. I love Ready Player One. It's just I'm so torn between it. Like I
Yeah.
everything I do, I look
Well,
at both
it's
sides.
gonna be weird. There's gonna be a lot of like I know, for example, someone was talking about they're like, well, what happens when robots come and take all
Mm.
the cashier jobs, take all the like the
Yeah,
drivers, the
yeah,
truckers,
yeah.
like what happens to them? And they're like, well, with that new technology, there comes 100 million new jobs, and there's
Hmm.
always going to be like we go into space and we put our flag into the
Yeah,
moon and to Mars and whatever planets we go to. We're going to need lawyers for space.
yeah.
We're going to need people developing. We're going to need engineers in
Mm.
space. Like
Yeah,
a whole variety of new jobs and
yeah.
careers and all that stuff comes. So I think there'll always be another
Yeah.
thing, which creates more. And so I think it will be that there will be
Yeah.
like a sector of the world who's kind of in their own world. But that's also like right now, like if you take the average kid in America who's got a TikTok account and goes to a public school,
Hmm.
and they're like a normal kid or whatever, and they're not rich, they're not poor,
Yeah.
they're living in like the most privileged state of the world ever.
Since
There's like
history.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. There's
Yeah.
millions of people who have nothing even remotely close to that, and
Yeah.
those kids aren't gonna be aware of that. It's
Yeah.
almost that it doesn't even exist to them because it's so removed from their reality. They're just
Yeah.
worried about what they're gonna get in their English test, and if their TikTok got 300 views or 200 views, that's
Yeah.
all that
Yeah. Yeah.
matters to them. And so
Yeah.
the metaverse is gonna be no different. I think it's just gonna be the next step where
Yeah.
they're worried about like, oh, did I get into the nightclub for tomorrow's VIP thing and
Yeah.
Snoop first in the sandbox kind of thing. That's what
You're
it's
right.
gonna be,
No, no, you're
and
right. Go back 500
so
years. You got sick, you were probably gonna die. You made it to
yeah,
30, that's wonderful. If you were a woman, your primary responsibility was just to give birth to kid after kid after kid every year. And if you were a man, you're probably gonna die in war or plague or disease. You're right. We're not talking about thousands of, this is a couple hundred years back. So all of this
yeah,
progress has been thanks to technology. And like you said, if a cashier loses his job to a robot, it's like almost saying like I still want a horse and carriage because the
yeah.
guy that used to whip the horse and take you around, he lost his job when cars came out. Are we gonna go back and say, hey, we shouldn't have cars because that guy's gonna lose? It's the evolution, man. It's gonna happen as long as I think, you know, people are prepared for it. It's not a shock. You just don't have a million people losing their jobs at once. It's gonna happen slowly and over time, and people are gonna have a chance to adapt and evolve. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I agree.
we
I
we
agree.
we went off tangent, but I love this, man. I love just not coming and talking about just different things, man. I've never done an
Yeah.
interview like this, kid. You're awesome, man. I
No?
love this.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who stay too. It's cool with the podcast too. You get
Hmm.
to see a lot of people stay from the very
Hmm.
beginning, and so
Hmm.
I feel like my favorite part with podcasts, the reason I got into it originally was because people like Tom Bilyeu, like Gary, they who are just inherently curious to
Yeah.
just know stuff. Joe Rogan, Lex Fridman, and so it was
Yeah.
interesting. Like when I would go through periods of like depression or anxiety where like I feel like I'm stuck and I can't get
Mhm.
anywhere. Like the walls are closing in. I would come to podcasts because they would take me through a little like
Mm.
emotional story with them, and they would like go through this topic, and it's like really
Yeah.
intense conversation about something, a really big debate, and then 5 minutes later they're into this new thing, and I'm there like learning with them, and like Tom's
Mhm.
sitting there like, well, like what about this, what that, and at the end of this little 2 hour thing or however long it goes, they like end the podcast. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh fuck, wow, that was wild.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And I love Joe Rogan, man.
So
You're absolutely
yeah,
right, man.
dude.
No, I love that.
Dude, when is Joe gonna get into this space, man? Like that
He
guy's
has to.
he's on. He's wanting to understand it. I just don't think someone has like given him the right.
Exactly.
I don't know. You know?
No, I remember watching a clip where someone goes to Joe and says, "Oh, did you know someone just bought this land in Sandbox for like $500,000, or Snoop Dogg or Adidas?" And they don't even took. I'm like, okay, now's your chance to explain why.
Right.
Explain why. No why.
Exactly.
They just let Joe be shocked by it and caught off guard by the numbers and just the idea of it, but didn't explain why. And this is why anyone who says,
Yeah.
"What are you providing for utility?" I'm like, "Hey, hey, you play games? Yeah, okay. From now on, if you play our game, whatever you get, whatever you earn, whatever you work for, whatever you buy is yours, and you can sell it to anybody else. It's not ours." Does that sound
Yeah.
cool to you? Yeah, that's an NFT. That's our way of
Boom.
providing utility. Now you can do whatever you want with your NFT and how you want to provide utility. That's how we're doing it. So it's
Hmm.
just like the opportunities are endless. It's not just a picture. That's one.
Right. Right.
And if you're a talented artist, wonderful. Big artists, millionaire artists, or just a very, very well known or a very talented artist and people love your stuff, wonderful. That's amazing. That's a great way
Yeah.
to make money for artists. But there's so much utility cases for NFTs. Just got to be explored.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And also for anyone who's in the chat right now, the chat's moving pretty quick. But if you guys have any questions that are specific that we haven't
Yeah.
answered yet or haven't talked about, or something interesting that you want to get into, drop them in the comments. We can definitely get into it. I mean, we've covered a wide range of things. I feel like we probably answered most questions people had just because went deep into the ecosystem. We went a little bit into the tokenomics,
Hmm.
into the brand of the project a little bit. I feel like we covered a lot of the shit. But if you
Yeah.
guys have any questions, drop them in there. There was something I was going to say. Oh, so with onboarding new people into the space,
Yeah.
is their best place to start YouTube? You think just YouTube?
Oh, you mean onboarding? So,
Learning, because
yeah.
people know, they're like, we know, like, just go to Twitter, go into Discord, start hopping into things.
Hmm.
We just know it's like that's just how you do it. People who don't know anything, they don't even think they know
Hmm.
to go to YouTube. They don't even know that's an option, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because that came up in one of my AMAs. They said when I told them our plan for how to bring people into the space, and I said they're gonna watch this video, it's gonna tell them what NFTs are, ownership, how to create their wallet. One feedback we got was, "What about the risks of the space?" Like
Mhm.
you're just gonna introduce them to the space and not tell them about the pitfalls, the hacks, and all of the other stuff. So I took that away. I'm like, that's a very interesting point. When you introduce people to the space, there should be some kind of like a big red flag, like, hey, before you come, do this, this, this. And I think YouTube is a great place. I think there's a lot of great information on YouTube. That's how I did it. When I wanted to learn how to win a gas war, I went to YouTube. When I wanted to
Oh
learn
my
like,
god, yeah.
what's the optimal, which software I should download to win a gas war. And
Right,
for
right,
me, it
right.
was YouTube, man. I think that was a great platform, and I think it's the one that most people are familiar with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it probably is YouTube. And just like honestly, like for a lot of people, I say you can just literally go to Gary Vee's channel and
Hmm.
watch a couple long form pieces of content where he's talking about stuff.
Hmm.
And that's like the best way. I feel like he's got so much content out there where he
Yeah.
describes it in so many different ways. That's almost your fault at that point. If you've been watching him and you don't get it, it's like, no, that's
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
inherent
Yeah.
problem that you have with NFTs that you got to address. And until you
Yeah.
figure that out, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We have a couple questions here. He
Yeah.
says, talk about the rarities of the NFT. That's a good question, actually. Is
Yeah.
that a thing?
Yeah, so our land will have different rarities. There's common, rare, epic, and legendary. And I know a lot of projects have that post-reveal dump. We're not, I don't, we shouldn't experience it if people understand, because a common land will have the same token and profit distribution as a rare, epic, or legendary land, and it will have the same percent for shares of the company. So the main rewards of the land will be consistent between all the lands. But what's the difference? Rare lands, epic lands will be able to summon at a higher rate. So commons generates you 3 a week, rare will summon you 5 Valerians a week, and epic will summon you 7. A legendary will summon you 10 of any element. And this
Mhm.
is one thing that's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because okay, we got 5 elements now. Kaiju Kings is fire types. So if you have a fire type,
Right.
if you don't get a fire type, you're going to be looking for a fire type if you're a Kaiju King fan. You'll be looking for an electric type if you're like if you're a Gojira fan, or Clementine's Nightmare is rock, or Llama versus grass, or water is like Cyber
Yeah.
Turtles. So depending on which project, and by the way, we reward their holders. We give them an exclusive champion skin to the holders of that
Fire.
project, and we give them a free booster pack for those Valerians. So they get rewarded as well. I love it. It's mutually beneficial.
That's
But
cool.
so let's say you want an electric light because you're like, oh, I love the Gojira. So it'll be very interesting to see how trading goes, because people might be trying to secure the lands that they want. But in my head, I'm just like, we have over 30 in-game integration announcements we haven't made yet. You don't know who they are, and you don't know what
Oh,
element they
right,
are.
right, right,
So
right.
position yourself how you want. But we got a lot more coming. Like the best position might be one of each, because we got
Yeah.
30 more announcements to come, and there's just so much. Forget the announcements. The in-game integration announcements are exciting, but we
Yeah.
also are going to start working on a cinematic trailer, a marketing trailer. But before that, we're going to put out a gameplay simulation. We're going to start sharing our 3D models so people can see
Mhm.
the kind of assets that we want to work with and get a better idea of what we're trying to build here. And then, and yeah, and we're going to share updates on our team. Like I said, we were in talks with a lot of people, but we weren't able to hire them because we didn't have the funds. And now that we've
Right.
minted out, we didn't just kind of wait around for the money. We were in talks with some big names studios, and now we're going to try. Now we're working on closing some deals, and once those deals are closed, we'll start sharing some more information on our updated team and the kind of value that they bring. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's so early, and
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
panicking, and I think our floor price is near mint. So if you didn't get our project, honestly, it's not a bad time if you want to jump in. I'm not gonna. It's not the plug or anything. Our floor price is irrelevant to me. And
There's a lot of projects that have quite a bit, and a lot
yeah,
of projects with a lot of attention too,
yeah,
and they minted, and people were, I think, distraught with how
yeah.
much it didn't go to the moon. Like, I think people don't really realize. They hear words like bull market and bear market,
Hmm.
but until you've been in the space and you really understand why it is we call it that,
Yeah.
it's more of the sentiment of the bear market
Hmm.
that if people could know what that really meant, and what it
Yeah.
means is in a bear market, people are not taking chances and they're
Hmm.
not buying.
Yeah.
That's what it means. And
Yeah.
because of that sentiment, things go down and people
Yeah.
sell for losses because they're like, well, fuck it, let me just get out now. Like, let me
Yeah.
just get what I
Yeah.
can get. I'd rather
Mhm.
hold that ETH. In a bear market, people value ETH
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
NFTs because they're like, fuck it, like it might keep
Mhm.
going down. So like, let me just get what I can get. So that's
Yeah.
the mentality, and that's why
Mhm.
things don't go up endlessly like in a bull run. In a bull run, everyone's taking risks because fucking MFers is pumping and Kevin MFers are pumping to the moon. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
madness, bro. Like it's literally
Yeah. Yeah.
madness.
It's chaos. You
It's
were
fucking
making money
wild.
on anything you bought. Like when we started,
Yeah,
I know I
exactly.
think we started near the same time, but when we started, it didn't matter what you bought, you were making money. Like it
Yeah.
just didn't matter. Until Mechaverse. Mechaverse was my
Hmm.
first bear market. Mechaverse
Hmm.
drained a lot of liquidity from the liquidity pool, and I think this one was sparked by everything going on in the world, but also Pixelmon and then Invisible Friends and Anthem, I think,
Yeah.
minted all around the same time. Now, obviously, Pixelmon did what they did, but Invisible Friends and
Right.
Anthem did what they did. But that was a lot of liquidity removed with all the war and everything going on. It was just a
And
so
we
yeah.
just had been going bullish for so long. It was just
Mhm.
like, look, we're
Gonna happen.
overbought here.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's time. It's time we have a
Yeah.
correction here. I think people were sad that it's taken so long, and we had a couple like blue ball opportunities where we like almost got it. Like ApeCoin launched, and everyone's like, oh fuck, and all the influencers were like, this is it. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, nothing has changed other
Yeah.
than this like 1% of the market getting a bunch of money. I don't know if that's
Mm.
enough. It might be, but I doubt it. And it was a blue ball. Everyone got excited for 3 or 4 days, and it just crashed right back down.
Yep.
We had another thing happen. I forget what it was, fueled by something temporary that I thought maybe could affect it.
Mhm.
But I think people were pretty shocked.
Mhm.
But Jacob's not shocked. All Jacob wants to know is what our favorite Pokemon game is. So
Oh, I love Legends of Arceus. I mean, I know it just came out, and I know it's horrible to say that considering I love the OG Pokemon, but I love that game because they just said they're finally doing what we wanted as fans. Finally, like I don't know if, how you guys feel, but when that game came out, and I'm like, shoot, you're standing beside, you could run around and in the middle of the battle. I love that, man. I
yeah.
still think they have a long way to go to reach like Zelda,
Hmm.
Breath of the Wild level graphics and detail, and but I love that game just because they took that step. And
Yeah.
obviously as far as like collection wise, it's got to be the Genesis, man, the Kanto
Yeah.
collection. Pokemon
Yeah, for
Blue.
me,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge gamer. I don't,
Hmm.
I've never been good. That's probably why I never
Hmm.
grew up with it. I had a couple like super early games, but I like always got too pissed off. My dad was like, "Let's just get rid of this shit."
And
So I
which
never
games
grew up
were
with them.
those? Like you're talking like
They
Smash,
were
like
like
Super
GI Joe
Mario.
stuff, like
Okay,
GI
okay,
Joe on like the most basic shit, like where you literally have a joystick and that's it. That's
got it,
all you have, and a
got
button
it.
on the joystick. That's all
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had. So
yeah.
I grew up with that, having temper tantrums because I sucked at it until I got good enough. And so then, like in middle school,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
already wasn't popular, so I didn't want to show up and then get killed and then be like, "Fuck
Mm,
me!" Like I suck even more. So I never played video games. I
right,
did
right.
play Pokemon,
Hmm.
and for me, I didn't really venture off more. Like after Pokemon Platinum, I think maybe even I think Platinum. I remember there's a couple other games that came out after that I played,
Mm,
but I didn't get too much into it, especially when like a new whole set of Pokemon came out. I was just like, oh
yeah.
fuck,
Lost
like
track.
I gotta
You
learn all
lost track.
these.
Yeah.
And so I always go back to nostalgia though. I do
Hmm.
have great memories of playing the old games. I loved Pokemon Yellow, probably because it was like
Hmm.
the first game I ever played,
Yeah.
and you had Pikachu walking after you. It
Yeah.
had Professor
On
Oak
his
in there,
shoulder. Yeah.
had all the OG characters. I think that's
Hmm.
probably my favorite for that reason.
Yeah.
It's just so nostalgic for me.
Absolutely, man. No, Pokemon is
Uh,
awesome, man. I love the games. I love
yeah,
what they did with Pokemon Unite too. Actually, what I really like about that is because one of our visions is obviously the next game we're thinking MMORPG, but for the third game for our company, we're like, what about a Dota League type game where you have like all these NFT characters to choose from? You can be Kaiju or Gajira or whatever, or maybe we use their champions or a combination of the two and make it like a 5v5, like a massive battle arena type of game. So I
yeah,
love that Pokemon kind of went to the Unite way. The Unite was cool. I played it for a bit, but um, but yeah, like I just like imagine Smash Bros, right? But if I was in the 2.0 world and I wanted to integrate a project or a company, and let's say I was Marvel and I wanted to use like DC character, I want to use Batman and put them in together with Spider-Man and make those worlds collide. Man, the paperwork, you would never happen. You know how
yeah,
our in-game integrations happen? Hey man, love your project, been a big supporter, thanks man. You mind if we integrate you guys into our game? This is what we will give your community, this is how it plays out, what do you think? Yeah, let's do it, man. Done.
yeah,
Kaiju integration. Done. Wolf
yeah.
integration.
Fire.
Clementine integration. This in the 2.0 world, what we want to build is not possible. It won't exist. The contracts and the paperwork will not allow it to happen. But in the
Hmm.
3.0 world, look at how everyone supports each other. Wolf
Yeah.
is creating a play to earn game. They let us be in their game. In the real world,
Wait, who
as
was it?
Wolves.
Okay.
Um, not Wolf Game. Wolves is another project. They have, I love their artwork. They have the baby wolf, the wolf, and the alpha wolf. So I'm like, that's a perfect evolution line for us. We just
Yeah.
took their wolves, made them into our character, and we're like, there you go, and
Nice.
barely anything required. But they're making a player. They want to make a game too. We're making a game, but they like, yeah, it's you guys can be in our game. We'll love to be in your game. This kind
Cool.
of stuff that only exists in the 3.0. That's why I love it. The founders,
Yeah.
the collaboration, the support everyone has for each other. It's amazing.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And Kevin asked this question. I know we've probably I feel like we've answered this twice over probably, but if you just want to give like a quick answer to it,
Oh yeah.
why
So
does NFT land have value?
and how would you answer that
I don't
if
know what
you were
JR
on
is.
JR? Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
Joe Rogan. Oh,
Oh,
Okay,
Joe
okay, okay.
Rogan.
That makes
Okay,
more
okay.
sense
Cool, cool,
with that
cool.
context. Gotcha.
So,
All right, shit.
and
I'm Joe Rogan.
yeah, you're
Hit
Joe
me.
Rogan, and finally
Put a
someone
ball
got
cap
a
on.
chance to to talk about NFTs with you. And for them, I would say it depends on the land. And if you're speaking about our project specifically, the landowners, the people who bought our land, the NFT itself, think of it as a share or a representation that you were the one that helped make this game possible. When we didn't have the money to finish development, your land represents that you were the one that made the rest of this development possible. And in return, what are we going to give you? If you own this land, we're going to give you 100% profits of our company. And we're going to give you your share of 30% of the company over a 2 year period. Why are you getting those benefits? You're getting those benefits because when we didn't have enough money to finish development, you believed in us, you minted our land, and allowed us to
Hmm.
finish development. In return, this is how we're going to reward you. The land, to make it fun and exciting, we give it different elements and we let you summon Valerians from different projects. This is all the enjoyability aspect of what we're doing. But the real thing is, you believed in us when no one did. You helped us finish development of the game. Your land is proof of that. And
Yeah.
this is how we're going to reward you for it. And we're going to give you this share, this percent, etc., of the profits forever. 100% of the profits forever for owning it.
Yeah, and also to add on to that too, Gary Vee had a good one for people
Hmm.
who maybe this will help probably for explain to like your parents or something
Yeah,
who don't get into NFTs is he talks about you're betting on as if we were in the beginning of the
yeah.
comic book era, and you're betting on who's going to be Marvel, who's going to be Batman, who's going to turn out to be the
Oh,
Black Panther,
I
and
love
same with
that.
like drinks. Like I think the Liquid Death was the example he used. There's like a ton of brands out there. He goes, but only one is Liquid Death. There's only one
Yes.
Four Loco. There's only one Monster Energy. He goes, what is it
Mm,
about those projects that blew up? There's something inherently different between like a drink like Celsius, who I'm trying to get sponsored by, but
my
like a drink
man.
like Celsius
Yeah.
energy drink, and then a company like fucking
Yeah.
whoever energy drink, they're pretty much the
Yeah.
same, right? It's
Yeah.
just the name that is the differentiating factor. So what you're doing is you're betting on people, which is what you said. You're betting on people and
Mm,
how competent they are.
I
Like, do
love
you think
that.
this person can pull it off? If you do, here's their most valuable asset because of the things
Mm,
that we just talked about. And I think that would probably convince Joe Rogan,
I
honestly.
love
So
it.
I'll hit up Joe. I'll hit up Joe. We'll
Yeah.
have a little combo
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll hit up Celsius and you hit up
All
Joe.
right,
Let's get this done, man. I love it,
let's
man.
go.
You're awesome.
Austin says, "What do the booster packs contain specifically?"
Yeah, so they're gonna
Good
have
question.
Valerians that will help you. Okay, so first of all, it's impossible to get the final form of a Valerian or even the second form from dungeons. Well, dungeons later on. I'm talking about very early. It's gonna be very hard to get to level 10. When you do the
Hmm.
math, it's not easy. 3 level 3s to get to level 4, 4 level 4s to get to level 5. You know what I mean? So it's like nine, like
Yeah.
3 level 1s to get to 2, then 9 level 1s to get to 3, then 27 level 1s to get to 4. Like it gets exponentially harder and harder.
Right. Right. Right.
At 5 to 10, it cuts. You only need 2 level 5s to get to level 6, 2 level 6. So it does become somewhat easier. But the point is, it's not easy. And the booster pack will give you a jump, a head start in that because it's
Hmm.
going to come with like, we haven't decided exactly how many it's going to come with, but it's going to give you like a nice booster pack of the Valerian. So if you get like, let's say the Kaiju Kings, it will have like maybe a couple level 1s, a couple level 2s. We're
Yeah.
deciding what to give because we don't want it to be broken. We don't want someone to be able to have like a level 10 within a few weeks because our booster pack gave them 2 level 5s. They burned them and now they got a level 6. They're already almost there. Like, we want to pace it out, but it's going to give them a
Yeah.
nice bonus. But the key is you get an OG skin that won't be available to anybody else. So if anyone comes and
Gotcha.
they love that
Gotcha.
skin, and that skin is obviously gonna have like some kaiju vibes, like you can see our skin for Clementines. We took their main character and made it a champion, or like generative dungeons. We took their assassin and turned it into a dungeon. Sorry, into
Hmm.
a champion. So we take their artwork, make a skin associated with it, and give it to their holders, and nobody else will have access to it. So these are the two main benefits. But the booster pack, we're working on it. Now, if you're referring to the booster pack for new players, so anyone who doesn't own land can also buy one booster pack when they sign up. It will be
Gotcha.
five commons, no chance to get a rare, no chance to get a
Hmm.
level 2 because we don't want people to farm the booster packs.
Sure. Sure.
5 commons, all level 1s, and those are the 5 Valerians that you'll need to begin play to earn to
Yeah.
do dungeons, and you need 5 Valerians. So any new player who doesn't own land, they can get into the game that way.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way to interlock that.
yeah,
And then I'm gonna pull up this question. I'm also gonna switch out. I'm gonna switch my camera to my laptop and
yeah,
swap
yeah.
out my camera battery real quick. It's just gonna die. But
No
here's the
problem.
next question. I think this is a really good question.
Hmm.
In regards to the land coming up for the second game. So I'm gonna swap this. So you can keep talking. I'm still
Hang
gonna hear you.
tight.
You're still
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
see
yeah.
me. It's just gonna be my shitty camera.
No problem. So, okay, so for this one, all I'm gonna say is hang tight because let me say this: the land will only be able the land that can generate tokens will only be the Genesis land. There will never be a way to generate tokens passively again. Never get profits again, and you will never get passive generation of tokens again. No land will be able to offer that, and that is only going to be the Genesis lands. So the key takeaway there is understanding what the value of the land is. The Valerians are great. The weapons are great. The real value is the tokens and the profits. Those will
Yeah.
only be available on Genesis lands. Is there going to be different lands? Elements? 5 elements is pretty basic. If you know Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
how many elements do they have? We're just getting started. But again, we're not pricing anything in. So I don't want to say too much. That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah.
you gotta just hang tight, stick around. We have so many things planned. Like so many, but
Yeah.
I have a horrible habit of speaking. When I get excited, I say things I'm not supposed to say. My team had to
Yeah.
sit down with me. I kid you not. Almost like an intervention
That's hilarious.
when we minted out and we were talking about all the things and how we're going to prepare for our next steps. They had an intervention with me and said, no hints, no leaks,
So you're the Tom
nothing.
Holland.
They
You're
said,
out here
literally, you're
dropping
messing
alpha
with
when you
things
should
now.
be.
They said, this is bigger than you. They had
That's
an
funny.
intervention with me. So I'm sorry, guys. So much I want to say, but I just hang tight, man. Hang tight. I
That
can't.
was
I
awesome.
can't. I got a comment that says leak it. I can't. And actually, it's awesome to see Reborn in here because she was in like so many of our AMAs and Discords. I actually recognize her name. She's come to all of our AMAs, so
Hell
she
yeah.
can testify that I'm horrible with leaks. 3-4 days before a collab gets announced, they would know a big
That's
one is coming.
hilarious.
I think when we announced Kaiju Kings, everyone in the Discord already knew. It was supposed to be like a big
Yeah. Yeah.
surprise. We got Kaiju. Everyone knew because
Yeah. Yeah.
I've leaked it like so many times. I'm horrible with it, but no, I'm sticking to my word. It's gonna be a surprise. Hang tight.
So I
Oh,
had
you're muted.
what
You're
is
muted,
it?
man.
Oh, am I muted? Um,
Or it could be me on my headset.
Hold on.
Make sure my headset is good. Maybe
Can you
someone
guys
can
hear
drop a
me in the
comment
chat?
because I can't hear him.
You can't
Maybe
hear me?
someone can drop a comment
Yeah, let me know if you can hear me or
if you
not.
guys can hear him, then it's my fault. Mm-mm.
Nobody can hear me? Let's see.
Oh, so it's
Oh,
my fault then.
shit.
My bad.
Do you want to
Let me
switch over to
switch
your
my
other
settings
audio?
up. Oh, they can hear us both, but I can't hear you.
Weird.
Let me switch my settings up.
One sec, guys. One sec.
How about now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that was my fault.
Okay, fair. All right. I thought it was me because I've had audio issues actually in the past couple days, and I was like, "Fuck me, it's back."
I don't know why my it switched. It shouldn't have switched. Like it didn't
Weird.
make sense. Yeah, sorry, man.
Okay. Well, anyways, we had Jeff had a good question here, but then
Yeah.
someone answered it also. He said, How are you making money if 100% of the profits are being rewarded back?" And then I
Yeah.
had Shorin also
Mhm.
here, and I also had something I wanted to add in
Yeah.
too. But he said they'll take a portion that covers their expenses, so it's only 100% of the excess from their expenses. But
Yeah.
also, you have to think about whenever there's any kind of brand. And you're betting on the brand doing well,
Yeah.
there's multiple streams of income you're going to get. If a company says, hey, like if Celsius comes in, they're like, hey, we want to have a Celsius board somewhere or
Yeah.
like whatever, like we want to integrate our brand somehow, they're going to have to pay them. And that's going to be extra money. Sponsorships like that, you're going to have, there's just a variety of different ways, but that's just one thing I
Absolutely.
wanted to add in there. But
Yeah, you wanna look if you open up our white paper 2.0, if you head over to page 16, it actually tells you like actually you brought up a great point, like all the different revenue streams. But if you go to page 16 on the white paper 2.0, it explains how total revenue is spent, right? Total revenue, we add up all of our revenue from all the different modes and all the different ways, all the different transactions, purchases, whatever, token spent, marketplace royalties. And total revenue's first objective is to refund the reward pool. The reward pool is where 20% of our tokens start. And the reason why that's so important is because this is where tokens are given. Like if someone wins a PvP battle, they get tokens. From where? The reward pool. So the first primary objective for the total revenue, and this process happens every 2 weeks, is to refund the reward pool. Make sure that we have enough tokens in there to continue to fund rewards. The second objective, and this is the part that answers your question, priority number 2 is expenses. The treasury,
Yeah.
sorry, it's the treasury which takes care of expenses. So there's the mobile game expenses like new seasons, game expansion, porting over to PC, introducing guilds. There's the operating expenses, the server cost, the legal fees, the payroll, the marketing, other expenses. And then there's future game development for like, the MMORPG we spoke about. Now, we're not going to fund the whole second game off of like 2 weeks of profit distribution. We're going
Mm.
to fund it over slowly over time. But yeah, there it is. So you can see like, if you begin in the reward pool at the top, you see it starts with the reward pool and the tokens get distributed. If you go to the left to number 2, you see the tokens are distributed to players in the form of rewards. And then after it's given to players in the form of rewards, it's considered a revenue stream. But I've listed a couple revenue streams there. And you can see total revenue's first objective is to refund the reward pool, then it refunds the treasury, then it funds profit distribution.
Oh
And
yeah,
that,
here it is.
yeah. So you see the total revenue in the middle, objective 1, refund the reward pool, objective 2, refund the treasury, that's the priority 2. And if you scroll down, the treasury, that's what it pays for. Mobile game expenses, operating expenses, and future game development. So all of our expenses from the company have been taken out, and you can see payroll is there as an expense as
Oh
well.
shit.
And then
Doubles.
finally is
Yeah.
profit distribution. So
Hmm.
yeah, so what we've done is basically say that yes, there are going to be expenses, and this will pay for our expenses before we give the profit distribution. That's why even at the start of this, I clarified it's not revenue distribution, it's profits. It's
Right.
after our expenses. Yeah. And keep in
Right.
mind
Right.
that
Right.
the 30% share of the tokens, that's fixed. You're always getting that a fixed amount every single second. You can claim it
Hmm.
any time. The profit is a bonus. It's an extra
Right.
incentive. If the game does well, it's going to keep going up and up.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And I had
Yeah.
a question I saw a second ago. It's probably I know a lot of people were commenting because they were saying they could or couldn't hear me. Um,
Oh yeah,
oh, here
sorry
it
about
is.
that.
I think this one's from me actually. Kevin, where's this popping up?
Oh, what's your OpenSea account?
There it is. Yeah, what's my OpenSea account? Okay, it would be cool to see your moves, how real you are. So I'll give you one of my accounts, and you'll in me giving that, you'll also see my Ledger account because I've transferred things from that
Yeah.
burner wallet. But I mean, it's just in my link in my description. I have my two collections. I have two art collections, but that is one of my burner accounts. So you can see some of the trades I've made there. I wouldn't advise following that advice because I don't know what your goals are with NFTs. Mine are very different. I'm a content creator. I'm not a flipper. That's not why I
Mm.
mean, I'm gonna flip sometimes, and I buy some projects to go in and out of. But there's a variety of different reasons I buy into projects. I bought into projects before purely to support. If it's a friend, if it's an art, I buy a lot of art. Like my Ledger, people expect to see like 47 Bored Apes in there. I'm like, no, that shit is filled up with like art that I think is going to be dope
Mm.
in 25 years or something by artists that I think are
I
going to
love
blow
that.
up. And that's like kind of where my head's at.
Yeah.
I believe in networking. I believe
Mhm.
in content creation. I believe that's how I bring my value. So that honestly goes for everybody. If you're following Beanie or some random guy with $1 billion in his account, that's a very different strategy. He's throwing money at everything, and that's why he wins. If you're throwing money at everything Beanie throws money at, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah.
that is a good question, though. I mean, it's good to
Yeah.
bring that up. I feel like,
Yeah, and plus everyone has a different risk tolerance.
yeah,
I have
exactly,
a
yeah.
hidden wallet section. That's like I don't even know how many NFTs are in there, man. I've done
Oh my god, yeah,
yeah,
dude.
the
That
hidden
shit is actually
section.
fucked because there's so many big people, like, especially like Gary Vee, who if
Yeah,
I mean, man, if people find out he buys an NFT, that project goes up instantly, gets
instantly.
10x.
Yeah.
And there's also people who fall for it because he gets sent shit like
Yeah,
airdropped into
airdrop.
it, and people think he bought it.
Yeah.
I remember just a few months ago when Cool Man Universe. I don't know if you know that
Yeah, yeah,
project.
I do.
It was sitting at like a point 0.1 floor. I was doing a live stream and I covered them because someone brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, this project's dope. I actually like everything about it. That's interesting. The floor is
Hmm.
so cheap." So I bought some, and the next day, Gary Vee like gets outed as so he bought it or something, and literally that floor went from 1.1 to like 1.7 in the matter of
There you
10
go.
hours. I remember sitting there and being like, "Holy shit,
And
that
you
was
bought it because you
wild."
liked it though. You just bought it because you
Exactly, yeah.
liked
And I'm
it.
still holding that one. I still hold that one. I
Yeah,
fucking love that one.
nice. I love
It's a
that.
cool one for sure, for
That's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah, Kevin, that's my advice there for especially for beginners.
Hmm.
It's good to maybe look at people who are in this space who've been in a while and see what they're doing, but just
Hmm.
be very aware that they're in a different headspace. And you can
Hmm.
copy. I mean, I've copied bigger people before, and I have been rewarded. Honestly, I've taken big dubs before, but I've also been fucking burned by
Yeah,
those same people's because you don't know. I mean, short term
yeah,
especially, a lot of shit can happen. You
yeah.
know. But anyways, yeah, I feel like we fucking covered a lot of shit here. So I appreciate if you guys have any last questions here. But other than that, we killed it here. Oh, hold on. Was there one last question? Oh no,
They're
they're
answering each
engaging
other,
in
man.
some
I
good
love it. Yeah,
discussion
yeah.
in the
That's what I
chat
was
right
gonna
now. This
say,
is
man.
dope.
Financial
Do you recognize
analysts.
these people?
Yeah,
Do you
some of
recognize
them
any
I
of these
do. Like
people?
Falthrax, I recognized.
Hell yeah,
Reborn, I recognized, and it's awesome that they're still kind of keeping up on us. Like this is what I mean. Like some of our followers are just
yeah,
our supporters are just so deep. And when you have even one person like that, how hard does that make you work not to let them down? Like really, like
exactly.
it keeps you up. Like that's the stuff that pushes you, that motivates you. It's like, hey, people are counting on you. They believe in you. They invested their money in you. They bought 50 of your lands when they sold 20 other NFTs to afford the liquidity to go all in on your project. And what are you
Yeah,
gonna do about it? It just
yeah,
pushes you, man. It pushes me, it pushes our team. So I really appreciate all of you supporting us. You're the reason that we work as hard as we do. I thought post-mint
yeah.
things would relax. I had 4 or 5 meetings today with studios and developers and
Damn.
like yeah, and then like it's ongoing, man. But it's what it is. We're not here. We didn't do this because we wanted to lay back and chill. That
Right,
wasn't our
exactly.
objective. We did this to revolutionize what play to earn means in the NFT space. And that's gonna
Yeah,
be it's gonna be
100%.
a road. Yeah, it's gonna be a journey.
100%. And all right, so this will be a good finishing question. Do you
Yeah.
have anyone that you take a lot of inspiration from, someone that you look up to in this space that you think could also give some inspiration, some help to somebody else, especially in the chat right now?
Um, sorry. If there's someone in the space that I take inspiration from, I honestly have
Or
some.
not even in the space, just in
Oh,
general, like just
I was
anyone.
gonna say in the space it's Kieran, the CEO, the founder of Illuvium. I love what he does. He would. I remember when Illuvium was because I've been with him for a while. How active he was in the Discord. CEO,
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar company, now $100 million company,
Mhm.
but always in Discord supporting people. You know, he supported this project called ETH Lizards, which is it's a project that was founded from his Illuvium Discord. The people in Livium were the ones that were just with him for so long. They made alpha plays, and then they just made their own NFT project called ETH Lizards. It has a 3 point something ETH floor now, and
Wow.
they minted like they had their Genesis, which is like 7 or 10 ETH floor, and he supported them. He literally was the founder
Jeez.
of this project, and he saw people in his community who've been in with him since day one, doing and building something, and he jumped in and supported them. And I'm like, that's amazing. He did
That's
YouTube
dope.
video after YouTube video, interview after interview, and I'm just like, damn, this guy's out there. He's grinding. He's working for his people. He's in the Discord. He's in the trenches. When things went wrong with the SILV hack, if you're not familiar, there was a big hack on the liquidity pool. When that hack went down, he refunded everyone. I think it cost him $5 or $6 million out of
Wow.
pocket.
Holy shit.
Didn't hesitate. Same time it happened. It wasn't like a week later he figured it out. No.
Yeah.
As soon as it was happening, when he had everything under control, I think within 5 6 hours he took care of everyone. This is what I'm saying. That dude was he's amazing in the space. That's why I really want the Illivium, and they inspired me. Like the
Yeah.
interviews, the AMAs, I got that from him. The profit distribution, they do revenue distribution. I got that from him. There's so much stuff that was inspired. Like our tokenomics is not the same. It's tweaked. It's
Right, right,
changed,
right.
but it's the idea to give back to your players and it will be successful and your company can still make money. That idea, mind blown. You know what I mean? And to
Hell
watch
yeah.
them be so successful doing it, it's like, yeah, we could do it too, except on mobile.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That is fucking awesome. And then anyone in the contemporary world, non NFTs maybe, or is that pretty much your man?
that's my dude.
That's your
Yeah,
dude. Hell yeah. All right,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Well, listen, thanks for being here. Drop a like if you enjoyed this interview. That was fucking awesome. Oh yeah. Also, if this is not your first episode, I want you to comment OG. If this is your first episode, I just want all caps. There it is. Here's the code word, so I know you made it to the end. Oh wait, where'd it go? There it is. Here's the code word. I want this spammed in the fucking chat.
Let's
Hell yeah.
go.
That was fucking awesome. I appreciate everyone being here. Subscribe to the channel. Follow him. Follow Antebellum. I've got their links in the description below. We appreciate you guys being here, especially some of y'all who have been here since literally the very beginning of this episode. Like some of y'all have been here for 90 minutes straight
Mhm.
with us. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being in here. Until next time, continue on your joyage. Continue to learn. Be great for your life watching this video. And thanks for coming on, man. This was fucking awesome. This was
Thank you.
fucking awesome.
Thanks for having me, kid. I really appreciate it. Love your channel,
Hell
man. Love
yeah.
what you do.
Hell yeah. Bye, guys. Bye,
Take
everybody.
care, everyone.
Peace. And hold on. Did it go? No, did it not go? Fuck. My graphic is